for us was last May, in May of 23. We received the Chartered Professionals in Human Resources Act from the province of Manitoba, which was a big milestone for CPHR in Manitoba and the profession. At this time, I'd also like to thank Lauren and the Winnipeg Chamber of Commerce on that initiative for all of their support and efforts to assisting us to get that royal assent from the province of Manitoba. So thank you, Lauren, for that. Let's give them a hand. I did a little research today, and we have over 1,800 members, and I discovered that we have 29 members that work for the City of Winnipeg, Your Worship. So I'm happy to see that. So now I know that there's a full schedule, and we're anxious to see the Mayor speak. So what I'm excited about today is to share with you one of our newest member spotlight videos to see a little bit about what a CPHR is all about. Thank you.
It's about driving cultural transformation and igniting a collective pursuit of well-being. It's about bolstering a shared vision and building a workplace that thrives on equity, community, and belonging. It's about challenging the norms and creating new narratives. It's about honoring the past and fostering hope for tomorrow. Walking these sacred grounds, I think of my ancestors. They carried the weight of generations. They're a testament to resilience, a reminder that change is not just possible, it's inevitable. This work, it's about shaping that change. It's about being strategic with forward-thinking ideas. It's about envisioning a future where everyone's story is heard. Coming here every day, to me, it's more than just a job. As an Indigenous woman, it's a responsibility. I'm Kimberly Levasseur-Puhatch, and I am a CPHR.
Thank you. Please now welcome to the stage President and CEO of Economic Development Winnipeg, Ryan Kuffner.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. I want to compliment our friends at CPHR Manitoba for that incredible video. What a great story, and also a great job featuring Winnipeg so prominently in the video as well, and our tourism assets, so thank you for that. Good afternoon. My name is Ryan Kuffner, President and CEO of Economic Development Winnipeg, and I'm so thrilled to be here today to celebrate the Mayor's second address here at State of the City. As the leader of Manitoba's largest economic development agency, we are Winnipeg's ambassador, telling and selling the Winnipeg story to drive economic growth. One of the ways we do this is by attracting people to live in our city, just like my wife and I did when we were ready to start growing our young family. Born and raised here in Winnipeg, my wife and I had built our careers internationally and had just returned to Ottawa after 3 years abroad. We had opportunity to live and work globally in any of the world's major centers, but we were expecting our first child. And we knew that there was only one place that we wanted to raise our kids: in a true community, connected, down to earth, uniquely authentic in ways that the other places we had lived frankly weren't. So like many of you in this room, we came home again, because Winnipeg is a special place. Now the Globe and Mail is finally saying what we've all known to be true. Winnipeg is the #1 city in Canada to raise kids, thanks to our affordable housing, quality education, and accessible childcare. It's a testament to what our city has to offer to current and future potential residents. Winnipeg is a place where parents can provide their kids with the best possible opportunities. And so EDW is launching a new campaign to leverage the accolade in all of our markets to attract talent in support of our local economy. We want the world to know you belong in Winnipeg. So on your tables, we provided Winnipeg postcards, which I encourage you to send to friends and family to invite them here. Winnipeg is more than a city. It's a community with unique experiences like The Leaf, where you can explore tropical biomes year-round. Festivals like Folklorama, where we celebrate our diverse cultural tapestry. But most importantly, it's a community with a profound sense of belonging. I'm proud to call Winnipeg home for my family. Now, let's all make sure everyone knows they belong in Winnipeg, too. Here's a video we're using to kick off this next campaign. Thank you.
I hadn't imagined being here before, but now I couldn't imagine being anywhere else with my family.
Winnipeg is a place where we've always felt welcome.
Where I knew I would return to raise my kids.
It's a place where I can contribute, where kids will contribute.
It's where there's so much to experience, all year long.
It's a place where I can grow my career and provide my kids with the best opportunities possible.
It's a place where we belong, where our community ensures you'll be connected. You belong in Winnipeg.
Please now welcome to the stage Ace Burpee, hosts of the Ace Burpee Show on 103.1 Virgin Radio, part of the Bell Media Radio Winnipeg group, to say a few words and introduce Mayor Scott Gillingham.
Thank you. Where are you doing that from? Oh, right there. Oh, you have a very nice voice. And so thank you. Good job. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you very much for having me. My name is Ace Burpee. Pleasure to be here on behalf of the Bell team to introduce our guest speaker, Mayor Scott Gillingham, who, his parents are here and I met them and they're awesome. Awesome. Where are they? Hi. Give it up for Mayor Gillingham's parents in from Carmen. Shout out Carmen. The annual State of the City event has a proud legacy of connecting the Winnipeg business community, a legacy that thrives on gathering us together, not just to network and collaborate, but also to give back to our community through impactful initiatives like the Manitoba Harvest Partnership to collect food for families that really need it right now. Food insecurity is a massive and growing issue for many people in our community. In Winnipeg, we're so lucky to have incredible organizations doing more than their part to connect families with the support and resources they need to lead healthier lives now and into the future. One of those amazing organizations are our friends from Mamawee. I know many of you know Mamawee. Bell is proud to partner with Mamawee on a few different community initiatives, and we want to share a little bit on one of them today. Check out this video.
The Mama Wichita Center is an Indigenous-led organization that's located here in Winnipeg. We provide resources to families within the community, really with the focus of creating a healthy, happy, and safe community here in Winnipeg for our Indigenous community.
Welcome, everybody. We are so happy to have you all here for the 23rd annual Christmas Hamper Drive.
Nice job.
Every year, in partnership with Bell MTS, we have the opportunity to pack and deliver hampers to families that really provide them everything they need for a Christmas dinner and toys for the kids. The thing I enjoy most about Bell MTS is not only are they providing financial contributions to today's events, but they're also providing volunteers. They're here doing it with us.
Let's get moving! It's hamper day!
The best part about doing this program is the moment that we get to take the package to the recipient's door. It's wonderful to meet the families, to see the smile on the face, and realizing that on occasion, people just need a helping hand to get through a hard period of time.
Hi, Merry Christmas.
Thank you. You're welcome. I'm very grateful for everything they do for me and my children. The hamper drive helps us celebrate Christmas and have a meal on the table for my family.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Christmas can be a really challenging time, and so today's event gives people an opportunity to come and be part of something really special. And so I think it's just a wonderful way for people to give back.
Awesome. You saw Tammy Christensen, the executive director, speaking so beautifully. We have with us at our table today Tammy Christensen, along with Scott Fitzgerald and Teresa Crow spreading his wings. If you could please stand, and we will give you an enormous round of applause for being amazing. Thank you for everything. You are so awesome. You're so awesome to work with. You're so appreciative when people reach out with an offer to help, and you're amazing. So thank you so much for everything. We are incredibly proud to call Winnipeg home because of amazing organizations like Mamawi. Together with our community partners, we are investing in building more sustainable communities for those of us that live here. And in this commitment, we have found a fantastic partner in Mayor Gillingham. It is now my honor to welcome the 44th Mayor of Winnipeg to the stage. Scott Gillingham was elected as Winnipeg's mayor in October 2022 with a mandate to improve city services, invest in infrastructure projects that enhance economic development, and tackle the city's social challenges like homelessness and crime. Mayor Gillingham was first elected to Winnipeg City Council in 2014, was re-elected to represent the St. James Ward in 2018. During his 5.5 years as Finance Committee Chair, he acted as lead on the budget process and developed Winnipeg's first multi-year balanced budget. Adopted in the early days of the pandemic, the multi-year budget helped the city weather the $220 million pandemic-related revenue loss. Mayor Gillingham has also been chair of the Winnipeg Police Board, Council Liaison for Labor Relations, and the Council Liaison. In addition, he has served as co-chair of the Winnipeg Metropolitan Region Board and as the City of Winnipeg's representative on the board of the North American Strategy of Competitiveness. Mayor Gillingham was born in Brandon, Manitoba, raised on a mixed farm near Carman. He and his wife, Marla, have been married for more than 25 years and live in Silver Heights. Together, they have raised 2 adult children, daughter Hannah and son Andrew. This is a very extensive bio. Right? Like what? I'm just gonna keep going. He's about 6 feet. Fluctuates between about 165, 175, depending on the season. You know what I mean? I think his first pet was a dog named Tucker when he was 7. Had 1 eye. It was wild. Very comprehensive. I like it. Here to deliver, everyone, his 2nd annual State of the City address. Please join me in a warm welcome for our mayor, Scott Gillingham.
Thanks, Ace. That was great. Thank you, Ace. Oh, thank you, Ace. It's hard to follow Ace. I wish I fluctuated between 165 and 170, but let's add that to the bio. Can we fix my bio, please? By the way, my wife Marla and I, she's here today. We've actually been married 30 years as of a few months ago, so it is time to update the bio. So Appreciate that, Ace. And by the way, Ryan Kuffner and the folks from Economic Development Winnipeg, fantastic. I endorse this message. You belong in Winnipeg. These are postcard, folks. They are postcards, old school. Put a stamp on it. Send it to someone that you think needs to move back to or move to Winnipeg. That's one of my challenges to all of us here in the room today, so thank you very much. I want to also thank the Winnipeg Chamber of Commerce for the invitation to speak to you today and in my second State of the City address, and thank all of you for being here. I really appreciate your attendance. I want to recognize Premier Canoe and members of his cabinet, members of the Legislative Assembly from all different parties. Members of Parliament are here today. I know that some of the Grand Chiefs and Chiefs are here. Thank you so much for attending this afternoon as well. And there are many members of Winnipeg City Council who have joined us today, and I just appreciate them so much. And in fact, I'm going to ask all of my City Council colleagues, wherever you are in the room, would you please stand for a moment and just be recognized? Can you do that? Thank you so much. Monday, January 19th, 1874. The temperature was a crisp minus 27 degrees outside. Inside, the wood stove was fired to warm one of the upper floors at the Leicester hardware store near the corner of Portage and Main. Mayor Francis Cornish and a group of 12 aldermen, just elected 2 weeks prior, made their way to the building. Some of them came on horseback, others by foot. In fact, most of these men had been pushing their way to this moment for months, some of them for years. Each one propelled by dreams of a burgeoning community, brimming with potential. As visionaries, they understood their times, and they had been adjusting their sails to catch the westerly winds of unprecedented opportunity that were blowing across this new province. It was the winds of opportunity that were gusting through the snowy intersection of Portage and Main that January morning in 1874. This is where Winnipeg's inaugural City Council was set to have its very first meeting at 12 noon sharp. That meeting started 30 minutes late, a sacred tradition we hold to and carry on this very day. When they finally pulled their chairs up to the table, Council quickly got down to business, forming standing committees and appointing an auditor and a city clerk. And while it didn't have a formal budget yet, it did approve a spending plan for major expenses, like $72.25 in printing costs from the Manitoba Gazette. Now, in contrast, we just released the city's newest multi-year balanced budget 2 days ago. It's a $2 billion plan that includes things that Winnipeg's First Council could never have dreamed of, like electric buses, next generation 911 service, and spray pads built across the city. So we've come a long way. But as we recognize our city's 150th anniversary this year, it's a great opportunity to look back at moments from our city's history and to draw inspiration from the visionaries, the rebels, the innovators, and the leaders that built Winnipeg. And it's also an opportunity to celebrate. And I promise you, we're all going to have all sorts of celebrations throughout the year and across the city. You're going to see the renewal of some traditions of the past, like the Charleswood in Motion Festival. Chuck and Mow. Did I get that right? I think that's what it is. And we're looking to recreate a hockey game that used to be played annually between the city and provincial governments. We're going to do that on the river, but the weather isn't exactly cooperating with that one, so I don't know, we might have to change the game. I don't know how all the MLAs, I don't know how good you are at water polo, but we'll have to come up with something anyways. We're also looking at some fun new activities, like a major fundraising gala in the fall and a Sister Cities Day this summer. And to mark our 150th, we turned to an Indigenous artist named Jordan Stranger to design a graphic that symbolizes our city's history. Not just the past 150 years, but also acknowledging the peoples and communities that have called this area home for centuries. And I think the design is beautiful. And you're going to be seeing it soon on t-shirts and hats and pins and other merchandise. And folks, I know that Jordan is here today, and I'm going to ask him to stand. He's near the front here. I'm going to ask him to stand to be recognized. Can we please thank Jordan for his gift to our city? Thank you, Jordan. Now think back to just under a year ago. On March 2nd, 2023, I stood on this very stage and spoke about the need for one coordinated plan to address our homelessness crisis and the success that the City of Houston has had following the exact same model. Since then, I've had the opportunity to visit Houston and to see firsthand how their approach has helped move more than 25,000 people off the streets of that city and into housing with appropriate wraparound supports. I've met with our provincial partners, and we share the same vision for building a similar plan here in Winnipeg to get us toward the goal of ending chronic homelessness in our city. In the meantime, we have doubled the number of 24/7 safe spaces. We've funded 2 emergency warming shelters this winter and have adopted an extreme weather notification and shelter policy. Last year, I spoke about the need to invest in the heart of our city, our downtown. And over the past year, our staff have been working hard with area stakeholders on Centre Plan 2050, the new blueprint for downtown development over the next 25 years. And that exciting plan will be coming to Council for approval before this summer. And to complement that work, soon we will reveal a renewed mandate for Centre Venture, the city's development agency, a mandate that focuses on the future of downtown as a residential neighborhood. And last March, I spoke about community safety and the need for us to tackle the problem both through social intervention and through increased enforcement. This week's budget includes funds for increased library hours, new recreation centers and aquatic facilities, and a partnership with the YMCA downtown that will provide recreation programming for young people in the center of our city, and I'm very excited about that. And I'm also very pleased to report that our new community safety team will be in service 10 short days from now, patrolling our transit system. For decades, many city councillors and advocates have called for more transit security, but City Hall never acted on a real strategy. But in less than 1 year, we have gone from concept to delivery. Now, I don't know how many of you have ever worked in government, but that is light speed in our world. I've spoken in the past about the need to shift to a yes-first culture in our city, and this is exactly what I mean by that. We solve problems and we engage partners together. We managed risk instead of letting the risk manage us. And together, we got the job done. Now, there are a number of city staff who often work always behind the scenes, but who in this case work very, very hard to get the community safety team up and running. And many of them are here today. And so I'm going to ask the following people, if you're here, to please stand. Our CAO, Michael Jack, our Transit Director, Greg UNCUT, Safety Team Leader, Bob Christmas, Jet Miller and Brett Penteluk from our HR department, our CFO, Catherine Klepfer, and her finance team, and all the other city staff who worked on this project. Would you please stand? Folks, can we please recognize these individuals? Thank you. They moved quickly to get this job done, and 10 days from now, we will see those new safety officers on our transit buses and around our transit shelters. Now, with that kind of progress in mind, I want you to step back with me through 150 years of city history. Remember the rugged, ambitious spirit that founded this city. In fact, long before Winnipeg, that spirit was present here, in visionary, Indigenous leaders like Louis Riel and Chief Peguis. Indigenous leaders who made the eventual founding of Winnipeg possible. But the Chamber of Commerce and its predecessor, the Winnipeg Board of Trade, also feature very prominently in our city's origin story. It was the early merchants and business owners who were the driving force behind incorporating Winnipeg as a city. They were so passionate that in the spring of 1873, when the original bill to create the city of Winnipeg was tossed out of the legislature, they promptly ambushed the Speaker of the House and had him tarred and feathered. Lauren, I'm glad to see the Chamber has refined its government lobbying tactics since then. I appreciate that. But more seriously, when I go back 150 years, I think about people like J.H. Ashdown. He was there at the very first council meeting, and he was an early member of the Winnipeg Board of Trade. Being a visionary, Ashdown saw an opportunity in the 1870s to convince the federal government to route our first national rail line through Winnipeg instead of going a little bit north. And he moved quickly to Marshall City Resources to help fund a bridge over the Red River to make it happen. If not for Ashdown's vision and action, we might all be sitting in a Selkirk Chamber of Commerce meeting today. That's the kind of ambition that has built the city we love. And in an uncertain world, one that is still brimming with opportunities, we need to recapture that spirit and that ambition if we want to enhance our quality of life, help those in need, and build a better future. Fortunately, we already have a lot of the pieces in place. Between our Winnipeg, the Transit Master Plan, the Community Energy Investment Roadmap, our pedestrian and cycling strategy, and Strategic Priorities Action Plan, and even my own campaign platform, we are not short on policy in this city. What we need to focus on is delivery, momentum, and outcomes. I have a series of photographs from the city's archives hanging in my office at City Hall. I chose each picture intentionally because each one captures a significant project from the city's past. There's a photo of the North End sewage treatment plant construction in 1938 that brought modern wastewater treatment to our city and was the first step toward improving the health of the Red River and Lake Winnipeg. There's a photo of Mayor Stephen Juba turning the sod for the new City Hall building in 1962 after successive councils had debated the project for decades. And there's a photo of the building of the Red River floodway in the 1960s. Premier Duff Robland championed that project even though it was mocked as a waste of money, and they called it Duff's Ditch. But that 47-kilometer channel has saved the city of Winnipeg at least $40 billion in flood damage since then. The greatest moments in our city's history didn't come only when we aimed high. They came when we stayed the course and delivered big. So, in our 150th year, I want to challenge our city to deliver big again. I'm going to start with three immediate challenges. Challenges to Council, the Public Service, the Chamber of Commerce, and ultimately all of you to help build our economic strength. The first challenge is housing. Housing production is not keeping up with the surging demand. Our vacancy rate dropped almost 70% in 2 years, from 5.1% in 2021 to just 1.8% in 2023. Winnipeg housing starts fell 7% last year, worse than the national average. And too many people are struggling to find a place to live in our community. We have to act now. We can't control when developers build housing, but we can control what we approve to be built. Our Housing Accelerator Fund agreement with the federal government has a clear target. 14,000 building permits approved by year-end 2026, or we'll lose the last installment. The good news, we already have thousands of units in the pipeline for approval. Whether it's at Polo Park, or the Water Tower development in St. Boniface, or Fulton Grove, or Railside at the Forks, These projects represent 7,800 units, and they're all infill developments that will take advantage of existing infrastructure. And we have the massive Southwood Lands project at the University of Manitoba, and now at Odina on the way as well. For the sake of our kids and our labor market and new Canadians and refugees and our economy, and the too many Winnipeggers without a home at all, we need to approve more housing more quickly. Our Deputy CAO, Maura Regier, is building her team to deliver on the Housing Accelerator Fund commitments. And our new Director of Planning, Property and Development, Hazel Boris, is already proposing reforms to streamline the permit process. But we need a shift in our thinking to a whole-of-city approach to housing approvals. We need to work together. So, I am challenging City Council, the public service, community groups, and the business community to help us get 8,000 new units approved for development before November 30th, 2024. That means that from this point on, Public Works needs to see itself as a housing department. Water and Waste needs to see itself as a housing department. Transit, community services, city clerks, all are housing departments because every department in the City of Winnipeg has a part to play to get housing approved. Premier Canu's government is making housing an urgent priority. 3 national political parties are putting onus on municipalities to make housing construction surge. We need to catch that sense of urgency. And I don't want to just meet our housing target. I want to go well beyond, to ensure that every Winnipegger has access to housing that's affordable for them. My second challenge is focused on the area of customer service and technology. As I mentioned earlier, this year's draft budget invests in 911, next generation 911 service, where citizens will be able to communicate with 911 via text and share photos and videos to improve our emergency response. Well, did you know that the first 911 service in all of North America started right here? In 1959, Mayor Stephen Juba launched Winnipeg's 999 emergency line. Kind of has a ring to it, no pun intended. 999 emergency line, which later became 911. It was cutting edge back then. Back then, Winnipeg took an ambitious leap, and hundreds of cities are better for it. Now, decades later, the truth is that we're not doing enough to use innovation and deliver better customer service to Winnipeggers. We need to modernize, and we need to signal to partners and to investors that we are ready to modernize. Major North American cities right now are actively using artificial intelligence to improve service and make their workforce more productive. Some use AI to help people in dozens of languages, while others are using AI to ease the backlogs at 311. Some use it to deliver faster building plan reviews, while others are improving their planning for road repairs to minimize traffic disruption. And so I'm challenging our CAO, Michael Jack, and Tyler Gooch, our Director of Innovation. Before Canada Day, I'm asking to see a pitch, not an administrative report, but a pitch for the first use of AI to improve customer service for Winnipeggers. Something that complements our existing investments in customer service, like expanding 311 and improving our permit system. And similar to what Mayor Juba and his council experienced with their work on 911, I want Winnipeg to be a trailblazer, one that sets an example for other cities on this continent to follow. And for my third challenge today, in the 2020 mayoral campaign, I spoke about how we need to refine our approach to economic development, to focus on our real strengths in areas where we are uniquely qualified to compete. Think back again to the 1880s, when local business leaders launched the Winnipeg Grain Exchange. In one focused stroke, they established our city as the heart of Western Canada's agricultural industry. The exchange was an engine of investment, and you could see the results all around us still, as much of Winnipeg's business district was built with the capital that moved on that trading floor. Building a commodity exchange in the middle of a small prairie town was a bold step, even a controversial one. But it made sense, given what Winnipeg was and what its founders hoped it would be. We need more of that kind of spirit. Paul Soubry at NFI has a vision for Winnipeg as a center of excellence to show how electric buses, clean charging technology, and modern transit scheduling can transform a city. Premier Canoe has a vision for building on our province's clean energy grid and our inventory of critical minerals to establish Manitoba as a leader in the green economy. These are great ideas, bold ideas, but we need more. And that's why last year I asked Lauren Remillard and the Chamber to start working on an idea. I want to see a private sector-led economic summit to celebrate 150 years of Winnipeg business. Agencies like Economic Development Winnipeg, who are doing great work in our community, will be there and must be there as partners. We need the Business Council and trade associations, labor leaders, Indigenous investors like the Manitoba Métis Federation, Southern Chiefs Organization, Treaty 1 Development Corp. To be there as well. But most of all, we need a summit that's all about you. The 1,200 of you in the room today who I haven't named. This is my challenge to you. How can you be a bigger part of our economic strategy? How can you benefit? And how can you contribute? Tell us what markets you want us to sell to. Work with your peers to see what products, intellectual property, and experts you could be growing. We don't need another gathering that's thought-provoking, frankly. We need a new kind of event that is action-provoking. So, Lauren, does the Chamber accept this challenge? Thank you. He said gladly, for the record, if you couldn't hear him at the back. It would have been really awkward if you'd have gone the other way. So, thank you. Appreciate that. It's the one moment I was really nervous in this speech. So I hope that we can all gather again together and meet at the Winnipeg 150 Economic Summit later this fall. To close, I ask you to go back with me to Winnipeg's second ever City Council meeting that was held, in fact, on this very day, February 9th, 1874. Our city archives have the minutes of that meeting. There was a motion that day by Alderman Fonseca, seconded by Alderman Logan, quote, that His Worship the Mayor do communicate with the Honourable Alexander Mackenzie, Prime Minister, requesting him and such other members of his government as can make it convenient to visit Manitoba this summer or fall, that they may know from personal observation the advantages this province offers. The first mayor and council saw it then. Council and I see it again today. Winnipeg is full of opportunities. So when you walk out the doors in just a few moments, please remember, we are the community of Louis Riel, of Nellie McClung, of W.J. Hodgkins, of Annie McDermott Bannatyne, Duff Roblin, Edith Rogers, and Stephen Juba. This city was founded and built by tenacious, passionate people who saw opportunity at every challenge, remained committed to the task, and delivered big results. Let's recapture that spirit and do the same. Thank you.
Please welcome back to the stage Winnipeg Chamber Board Chair Jeanette Montefar-McKay to the stage to facilitate a fireside chat with Mayor Gillingham.
I'm okay.
Okay. Wow, thank you so much for that address. very exciting, and I was taking notes as you were going, because you mentioned so many things that appeal to me. Like you talked about transportation, and you talked about all the exciting things about it, and engineering, and the wastewater treatment plant, and all the things, and I kept thinking, what am I going to start with as a question? So I figured Friday, February 19th, 2024, minus 8 degrees outside. Okay, so that's 150 years later, after that first council meeting. About 80% of the people came by car, okay, and the rest walked or cycled. Let's just set the stage. So tell me now, this is a very different Winnipeg than 150 years ago. So what would you say excites you most about the Winnipeg of today? And what keeps you up at night about the Winnipeg of today?
What a great question. I don't want this to sound cliche, but I've said it before, so people that have heard this will know I'm being consistent. What excites me about this city is the people of this city. We have outstanding people, from business leaders to those that are leading and serving in nonprofit organizations, to government partners, all who are dedicated, really dedicated and committed to our city. The number of times I've had people, come up to me at an event like this, or even in the grocery store, and say, Mr. Mayor, I know we've got some challenges, but we're committed to this city, and you let me know how we can help in any way. We're there. We want to help. And it's that's why I talked about today. It's to awaken once again within us that ambitious, dedicated spirit that people have that want to seize opportunities and make our community better. And that absolutely makes me, it excites me and gets me up in the morning.
Okay, excellent. And what keeps you up at night?
Nachos, late at night? No. In all seriousness, what keeps me up is it's going to take a long time. Like, things take time. I think, for example, of the challenge again, and we mentioned it again today because I want it to be on the forefront of everyone's mind, is the work that we're doing collectively as a council and with nonprofit organizations and with the provincial government, and to a degree the federal government too, on homelessness. That's taking. It's going to take a while to make sure everyone has a home and has the wraparound supports they need. It's those sorts of things that do keep me up at night.
Yeah, and that's absolutely, I guess, understandable. It's a significant challenge, and when we think about downtown more specifically, and we think about safety and the perception of safety, you have been putting a lot of work and a lot of thought into how to improve this. So I wonder if you can elaborate a little bit into some additional initiatives that are being implemented, other than what you mentioned just now, to address the concerns that the community has about, and businesses have about downtown.
One of the things that I campaigned on, and we are moving toward, I didn't really mention it today, but we're moving toward, is the development of a community safety plan. And the community safety plan will involve really all the agencies and entities that in any way have anything to do with community safety. So for sure, the Winnipeg Police Service will be there, but so will groups like Bear Clan, the Downtown Community Safety Partnership, the brand new community safety officer team that will be on our transit buses, and the frontline agencies that are involved with helping those that are struggling unsheltered right now and homeless. Businesses, the biz zones in the downtown as well will be a key part of that. So we've already started some of those things and some of those initiatives. There'll be 24 new police officers on the street later this year as foot patrol in the downtown. But police are not the only entity or agency that is responsible for community safety. And so we're going to be working with everybody to make sure that we develop kind of a coordinated plan called a community safety plan. And I think it goes back a little bit too to what I talked about, is when we're talking about safety, it's not just an enforcement component. There's also a social intervention component that has to take place as well. So it'll be a collective kind of approach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yeah, of course, it's a shared responsibility, right? So we'll have a role to play, similar kind of to what one of your challenges was, the challenge on housing, right? And you also mentioned something about Centre Venture, and I think along those lines, this is all interconnected in a way, is Centre Plan 2050. And Center Plan 2050, as many of you may know, it's a significant initiative that aims to guide investment and development in downtown Winnipeg for the next 30 years. So I wonder if you can share your thoughts of how the plan will transform downtown Winnipeg, particularly in terms of attracting more visitors, more residents, and maybe if you can just speak also to how is this plan going to be different from previous initiatives from, before, like the 90s, the early 2000s, that have also had the same goals but have not been as successful?
Well, I think, plans come at a time, right? At a certain time. We're in this window of opportunity right now with the Housing Accelerator Fund and with the need for more people to live in the downtown to develop this plan and deliver on this plan. I'm really excited that soon we'll get CentreVenture a new mandate to assist the City of Winnipeg. Our staff are doing a great job. I mentioned, our leaders, our CEO and our deputy CEO, and our head of planning, property and development. They're putting plans together. So CentreVenture will work in partnership with them. We already have, incentives available to those that would build in the downtown. And so we're focusing on downtown residents, getting more people living in the downtown, building the downtown, and then also along some of our corridors. But some of that is happening already. You take a look at some of the investments that are, that are taking place, and whether it's 300 Main or I know along Waterfront. I just was able to see one of the new sets of apartments that have gone up there. There's a lot happening there. So some of, and other places. So there's a lot of good work and development that's happening. And I think it ties together. I would say that probably if a bunch of people in this room probably attend Nuit Blanche, for example. Rhetorical question, so you don't have to lift your hand, but do you feel safe when you're downtown at Nuit Blanche? You do. Why? Because you're surrounded by hundreds of people. So a key to downtown safety is more people living in the downtown as well. And so that's why there needs to be a focus on downtown development. And I've said it many times, and I'll always say it, the health of downtown matters, makes a difference to the people in Transcona, the Maples, Sage Creek, Waverly West. Our city will only be as healthy as our downtown is. So we've got to make our downtown healthy and strong.
Okay, that's a great point. And I'm assuming asking everybody, challenging everybody to help with this. So I'm going to shift gears completely because we have only a couple minutes left. And so, when I was a professor and I would prepare the final exam for students, I always thought, well, people study so hard and they study everything, and I asked these questions, but maybe they studied something I didn't ask. And so I would sometimes give them the chance. I would say, set up your own question and answer it. And, and believe it or not, some of them would get it wrong. Okay, but that's another story. That's another story. So let me pose this opportunity. In preparing for today, is there anything that you wish I would have asked that I didn't? And give me the answer.
I'm afraid I'm going to get this wrong.
And you only have 1.5 minutes at the most.
No, I wish I would have had more time to talk about today, about our transit plan, our transit master plan. When we talked today about putting this, some challenges together in the speech, I wanted to use this opportunity as Winnipeg's 150 to hopefully, call us and inspire us to act. That's really what it's about. It's about action. And so there's a whole probably list of things that we could have talked about and challenges, but one of the ones, area that we'd like to spend time on to focus on is our transit master plan and the work of transit, because again, for a healthy, strong, vibrant city, we have to have a healthy, strong, vibrant transit. And our team at the city has been working so hard. Yes, give them a hand. Our team at the City of Winnipeg in the Transit Department is working so hard on implementing the Transit Master Plan, and we're working towards a big summer 2025 is a big moment. We're going to switch to a spine and feeder system so that transit is more frequent and more reliable. We put more investments in the budget this year into transit. We're extending the supervisor, the operator's safety shields, bringing on the transit security team, making sure that our wind pass is held at 2023 levels, so those that really, really need transit to be affordable will get a greater than 50% discount. So big investments in transit because it's a big priority for us.
Excellent. Thank you so much,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Mayor. It was a pleasure talking to you.